Hello everyone and welcome, it's InfernoKun back with The Walking Dead, the final season, talking about everyone's second favorite girl, that being Violet. Maybe, if you like her, that is. I'm not sure, but I do have a quick announcement as far as me being away for a week, that was due to school being very tough, but I do have an announcement that I'll be doing an interview with Nicki Rapp, the voice of Lily in The Walking Dead, the final season. So that's pretty awesome. She agreed to go ahead and have me host one, which is definitely really awesome. Such a great opportunity to go ahead and pick the mind of the voice of Lily, and I can't be any more grateful than I am. So look out for that. That should be a week or two after episode 4, so that will be the setup date. No confirmation as of right now, we are still setting it up, but look out for that. If you guys do have any questions for her, be sure to comment them down below, and I'll be sure to grab some and hopefully get to ask her some of your questions. Okay, so that should be really awesome. As far as that goes, that is pretty much it. Let's go ahead and jump into today's video talking about Violet and what's gonna happen to her in episode 4, what's going through her mind at the end of episode 3, and what can these choices that we have so far affect Violet in episode 4. Definitely really awesome, because Violet's one of my favorite characters in the game as of right now, alongside Lewis. So don't worry, there will be a Lewis video next. Look out for that. So as far as Violet goes, okay, let's go ahead and break her down as far as episodes 1, 2, and 3 goes. Episode 1, she was kind of a bit, not warming up to you until towards the end, where she kind of sides with you if you go ahead and choose that option. But as far as that goes, you learn a bit about Violet in episode 1, that being if you went fishing with Violet instead of going hunting with Lewis, that's a choice there. And then at the end, you have an option to go ahead and have Violet side with you or have Lewis side with you. So that's definitely a really important aspect as well. Hopefully that gets brought up, but we'll go more into that in a second. As far as episode 2 goes, that's when things got a little bit, more interesting as far as Violet's character. Her becoming the pseudo de facto leader of the boarding school, taking charge, and she really wanted Clementine and AJ to go ahead and stay in the boarding school group. We had Lewis, who was on the fence, and everyone else was like, I don't know. So as far as that goes, Violet was like dead set on wanting you to stay no matter what. If you sided with Lewis or you sided with her, she wants you to stay. She's on your side. She pulls out the meat cleaver and was like back up. Okay, so that was definitely an option there. Moving on, we have the option to go ahead and have her shoot Lily in the, I believe, shoulder in episode 2. That's an option as well. This might be one that might be a stretch as far as having an effect in episode 4, because like, what if Lily is alive, and what if you saved Violet? That could come into play. Maybe some dialogue, I'm not sure. We'll get to that in a bit. And then we have the sort of last bit where we have a chance to go ahead and either, go with Violet or go with Lewis, and then potentially romance her or friend zone her. Whichever one you did, that's up to you. But that was definitely a pivotal moment in her character as far as her connection with Clementine. You do have many different romances in episode 3, like moments there, which is definitely going to happen probably in episode 4. Maybe depending on what happens, because like, what if they're romancing while people are dying? That'd be highly unfortunate in a way. But moving on, the last thing we got to do with Violet is save her or save Lewis, which is definitely a one that has the biggest effect as far as on Violet as a character, which is definitely really important. And all we really had in episode 3 was the option that was to go ahead and to have AJ go ahead and jump Dorian and prevent Violet from losing her finger. That is also an option. So let's go ahead and tie it back into the whole point. What's gonna happen as far as Violet in episode 4? So you go ahead and look at that. The biggest point obviously is if you saved her or not. In episode 3, she is not very happy if you did not save her. She kind of hates you a lot, and people might be like, man, screw Violet. She tried beating up Clementine and everything else, tried, going against Clementine. And as far as that goes, after reading what Kent Muddle said about her character, like more in depth about how she really does not like to be abandoned and how she really, felt betrayed, that was very interesting insight on her character, and it makes a lot of sense on why she was just so betrayed, and you know, she's very different compared to if you saved her. So that's a little interesting aspect there. As far as not saving her and then going into episode 4, I wonder what's gonna happen as far as Violet's character. Will she still be very, very, very mean to Clementine? Will she still hate Clementine if she ends up surviving? As far as that goes, that is definitely a point to think about. On the flip side, we have the option that, of course, you know, you save her, she's on your side, she's like, hey, let's go ahead and save our people. She's all optimistic, and she doesn't give up like she did if you left her. So that's definitely a parallel as well. We could have her be, you know, obviously a lot better if you saved her in episode 4, because, you know, why not? I mean, you kind of saved her, she's kind of nice, she's very optimistic. That is definitely an option as well as that goes. So let's go ahead and move on to Minerva, because she is a pretty big aspect of Violet's life. So either way, at the end of the whole prison scene where you go ahead and jump Minerva, Violet ends up, you know, comforting Minerva at the end when she gets either shot in the shoulder or knocked out by Clementine. So those are very different ones. Go ahead and start with the shot in the shoulder by Violet. Of course, if you saved Violet, Violet will end up shooting Minerva in the shoulder, and then she'll run to comfort her. For me, obviously, I romance Violet, and she does it either way all the time, okay? She will go right to Minerva and comfort her like, oh no, I just shot Minerva in the shoulder after she tried to kill Clementine. But that is very, very interesting. I wonder what's going to happen as far as that relationship, okay? Minerva, obviously a staple on Violet's life, okay? So I wonder, will she end up going back to Minerva if you did not save her or save Violet? And what's gonna happen between, you know, Violet and Minerva if you end up romancing Violet as Clementine? Will she just move on, being like, hey Minerva, I'm sorry, but I moved on, Clementine is the new bae? Because I doubt they'll be like, hey, you know, you romance Violet, but hey, she goes back to Minerva either way. I think that if you ended up, you know, leaving Violet, she may end up going back to Minerva. Granted, even if she survives, so that's definitely a point as well. Now let's go ahead and move on to the survival of Violet as far as, you know, both choices go. We have the option, of course, you know, leaving her and saving her once again. She stays down there with Minerva either way, okay? And there are two different, I guess, states for Minerva: being shot in the shoulder and being knocked out. Obviously, those things being very, very different. You know, you're bleeding on one, you're just unconscious on the other. Therefore, what could happen there? Obviously, Violet was down there, you know, a sim, and everybody else was like, hey, we gotta get out. Violet was like, man, Minerva, what happened? I'm so sorry, and everything else like that. So I wonder if Violet will have enough time to get out. I think that she will obviously have enough time to get out. So it could be a lot more difficult because you're carrying a person who has been wounded or knocked out. Therefore, it'd be a lot more tough to get her out of there. So I wonder, you know, depending on that choice, would the shoulder shot Minerva end up, you know, possibly dying, or will they end up, you know, holding Violet back and possibly getting her killed? Various things like that. That could be a very, very interesting dynamic there. So what do you guys think about, you know, Violet being down there at the boat whenever it exploded, having to carry out Minerva, obviously being a lot more difficult than, you know, running out by yourself? That could definitely be what happens there. But as far as that goes, I really do hope that choices that, you know, are very minuscule really have an impact on the story. As far as, you know, shooting Lily with Violet, of course, Violet can go ahead and shoot Lily with an arrow. And in my save, obviously, I spared Lily. So that means that, hey, I ended up saying, hey, Violet, shoot Lily. And then Lily's still alive in episode, you know, at the end of episode 3. So I wonder in episode 4, will Lily be like, hey, Violet, you shot me, various things like that. That'd be a very, very cool little thing that happened, because, you know, she wouldn't forget that. You know, that'd be very, very interesting. I really hope that choices really do come in the form of just dialogue changes, okay? Have her mention the whole fishing trip. Have her mention the siding with her as far as the Marlon situation goes. That would definitely be really awesome. And of course, if you got her finger cut off, obviously have them mention that. Have them be very, very pissed off about that. That'd be really, really cool as well. So what are you guys thinking is going to happen to Violet in episode 4 as far as she is concerned? Whether it be with, you know, saving her, her being more optimistic, or not saving her, her being more pessimistic and probably not being on your side, probably being more on Minerva's side and just following her. Maybe Minerva just doesn't cling on to the boarding school anymore, and you know, Violet turns on us and various things like that. It could be very, very interesting seeing how this stuff plays out as far as Violet's character is. There's a bunch of different aspects that really do affect her. We have, you know, mostly Minerva as far as that goes, but Clementine, you know, choices we made with her could definitely play an impact on her character in episode 4. So hopefully it is good. Hopefully we do get more, you know, in-depth, you know, just like consequences on what happened, because I feel like episode 1, 2, and 3 really focus a lot on Violet and Louis, and I think that, you know, episode 4 should be more on the application of this knowledge we know about them and what we chose to do with them. That would definitely be really, really awesome. Obviously more romance scenes would definitely be really awesome. Well placed ones, of course, not ones that, you know, happen right after a character dies. Maybe more at the end. Maybe if Violet ends up surviving, if you saved her, that could be more of a heartwarming thing towards the end of the episode where everything's all sunshine and happiness and we can now move on because Clementine, Violet, and AJ will survive the season, right? Probably not. Probably not. But anyways, thank you all for watching this video. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and comment down below anything at all about Violet as far as episode 4 is concerned. Tell me how much you hate her because you chose to go ahead and save Louis in episode 2, because that's why you hate her, okay? Definitely. Anyways, I'm InfernoKun. Thank y'all for watching once again, and I'll catch you guys next time on The Walking Dead.